Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the So You Wanna Tank Plaguefall. This is the second last one in the series. I also did miss last night, so I will be recording that shortly and putting it up. You can expect that by the end of the week. So there are many ways to do Plaguefall, like quite a few. You can skip this whole first part if you want. Our group opted not to. There's a lot of wheelchairs in our class, kind of me including. Now, one of the things you need to watch out here is this Fungal Mancer. Now, we're going to blast down this inspired soldier, but that Fungal Mancer there, he does a cast that you really want to kick. Aside from that, this big guy just has the Creepy Crawlers cast that you want to kick, and you want to avoid his zones. We did have a really good group. This is a pug group that I just kind of joined for 15. I had really taken a little bit of a family vacation and stuff like that ahead of time this week. So here we have no inspired, so I'm going to aim directly for the Fungal Mancer. He is deceptively one of the most dangerous mobs in this pack when he does his cast. The Fungi Storm, that is one that you want to hard CC. Aside from that, there is the Doom Shroom cast, which this came up right here. You want to kick that. You really don't want that to kind of, or you don't want to be in it or anything like that. Aside from that, you want to kick the Hurl Spores. These guys are just not fun in general, especially when you get into much higher keys, 20 pluses. You're probably going to opt to just straight up skip all of these. But in the meantime, if you're doing 15s, it's fine, whether it's Fort or Tyrannical. They're not too bad. They're not exactly the most fun packs in the world. But you really want to make sure that that Fungi Storm cast gets some sort of hard CC'd, because that going off can really hurt, especially if your healer's a little bit less eye level and things like that. And then I'm just going to skip the pack on the right and left. You go right in the middle. Very common strat here. Although I am going to skip ahead of Incinerator Arcaloth because he's not going to be here as of recording. Well, as of the day after recording this. We're an all melee group too, so we didn't have anybody baiting the Fireground things. Here he drops, and up next I'm going to try and pull as many of the Gushing Slimes as I can without losing threat. I notice we're all good. Now, depending on the week, you do want to separate some of these packs. Inspiring is really not that bad, telling you the truth. Ooh, I hit 60k on that one. Very nice. But on bolstering weeks, on raging weeks, and things like that, these things can really hurt. And they also have something that you want to dispel. So using a Belfracial on those about midway through is really good. But they do bolster, they do spiteful and everything like that, so you do need to watch out how that's going to work. Aside from that, these Plague Belchers are fairly easy. They'll spawn some ads, they have a frontal. Get out of the way. And as a tank, just kite him away from the ads whenever you can. The Plague Belchers do not heal if the ads touch him, but he does get more powerful. So in higher keys, Fortified, that can hurt. Now, one of the strats that we've been working with my team is actually not pulling that one at all, and we just pull this one here. Now, I do make sure that we do have a Necrolord in the party. So what my goal is here I asked if we had a Necro. Yep, our DK's a Necro. Watch out for that Belch Plague. It's a nice frontal. Poison, not fun. Aside from that, just kind of kite him around. This is a Tyrannical week, so it's really not that bad. So for the next strat here, I kind of confused some people, but I want to go get the red slime buff because we do not have a lust in this group, so I felt it was probably better for all of us and going to be quicker along the way. This one here, so there's a couple of things to watch out here. The Blighted Spinebreaker does a Belch Frontal, which you want to not be in. He also does a Jagged Spine cast, which will put some ground effects right here. You see them. You want to make sure that you do not be anywhere near that. Here we also pulled the Plague Rock. We are going to be way above percentage here, by the way. He does do something that can be dispelled. Paladins can dispel it pretty quick. He puts a debuff on you. And that Blight Beak there. And as well, he does a frontal called Wing Buffet. And you want to make sure that you just get out of the way for that. Sidestep it. Now, when the Blight Breaker dies, the big guy, what you want to do is make sure that you grab up all of the slimes before they metamorphose into something bigger. Here, the Plague Boars have this Wretched Phlegm cast. And this is why I really want to be on my Paladin for this one. You can actually hit Freedom before that cast goes off, and you don't have to worry about damage. It just kind of negates it, because it's a big slow and a big poison dot. It's really not fun. So here what I'm going to do is we're going to grab the red slime in the Plague Binder. Now, the goal is, especially in higher keys, is to actually not attack the red slime at all, and just kick him until he gets up so you can stand in it, because you'll double dip on the buff. But our group just kind of mowed him down, so whatever. Here we have the buff. He's gonna fleshcraft on that, so we're gonna get an extra 20% haste, which is basically a decent part of lust. And if actually I'm going to use drums here, so it's like we have a lust. Things went down pretty well. Globgrog has a few mechanics that you want to watch out for as a tank. Mainly, you're playing keep away. He's gonna do a stomp. It's gonna poison everybody. Monks, druids, and paladins can dispel that, not a problem. So you can just dispel yourself and dispel someone else. That plague stomp there, if you're playing as a warrior, if you're one of the few, you can actually spell reflect that, and it'll you won't get the dot, and you'll actually reflect the damage right back to the boss. And DPS warriors can do this as well. Here at the Beacon Slimes, so right here we are going to imprison it. There are many ways to hard CC that big slime. Paladins have Turn Evil, Warlocks have Banish, Monks have Incap, and there's monks with rogues with Blind. There's really a lot of ways that you can deal with that CC, but you want to make sure that you have hard CC it, and then you play keep away from the little ads that come around, as your DPS will most likely burst them down. Aside from that, there's a frontal. Don't be in it. Kind of a tank and spank kind of boss. He just deals a lot of damage in higher keys and things like that. A lot of avoidable damage. Make sure you have a good poison dispel in your group as well. And there you go. That's Globgrog for you. Up next, we're going to go down. We went straight. Like, I asked them, they're like, no, most direct route, no skips. Let's just get it down. Our DPS will be fine. And absolutely, our DPS was fine. So here we have the Wretched Plague Boars. Again, the Wretched Phlegmcast you want to watch out for, and you want to kick the Plague Binder whenever possible, because the Pestilent Bolts do hurt. And here, as you see, I actually went into the canister, hit the canister, it explodes, it puts a big dot on all of the things. We did lose our Paladin. I don't think he got out in time. And yeah, that's that's kind of that. We really had a lot of good AoE DPS. So there I res the Paladin, get right to it. Use these canisters whenever you can, because they are very, very good DPS. All you have to do is DPS them down. They don't have a lot of health, and you want to make sure that you get out of them. Now, those canisters can be troublesome if you don't have a movement ability like Freedom or anything, to kind of get rid of that. Death's Advance for DKs, Shapeshifting for bears, and things like that. So here, jump across. Now, this Congealed Slime, this one here, the purple one, he puts a debuff on, he puts a buff up on enemies that, what it does is it reduces the damage they take. So the purple slime in any pull should absolutely be your first priority to take down, and then the rest of the things will go down a lot easier, but that damage debuff is not exactly the funnest thing in the world at times. But fairly easy, fairly standard, nothing crazy. Inspired Week can be very, very fun here if you can't, if you don't have proper D-spells, because you can't kick or CC as many things as you want. So here I'm just going to pull this pack. Again, frontal with the spine breakers, that's what they are. Make sure you get out of those, get out of the jagged spines, kick the things. Really not difficult. Now, those rotting slime claws, they will try and escape after a certain amount of health gone. So save your hard CCs to keep them in play. Then we're going to do Oros, and we're going to actually pull these slime claws in by accident. That someone actually went over there. Got a little bit too far. It happens, that's fine. But we're going to skip Oros, and we're going to go over to the tentacles. So up next, there is a certain point that when you cross, you'll start getting these plague boars that show up. You do want... So as you see, I turn around. I let the DPS stay on that side and tank them. I've got freedom, and I can dispel myself. So then what you do, I decided here I'm just going to bubble it. But those plague boars, when they explode, they do a lot of damage. So you want to line them up on the tentacles and really just kind of work them that way, because they do a lot of damage, and they're really, really good if you can use them. So that's why you don't want to move too forward too fast until you know you're kind of going to start this little mini gauntlet. And I again just freed them through the Wretched Phlegms. Not a problem. They'll explode, and then we go to this little mini boss, Muralax. He's fairly easy. He's got a lot of HP for a caster, really. What I do is I just bring him down. We have more plague boars that show up. He does that big circle AoE. Not fun. Get out of it. But fun thing is this stuff on the ground doesn't hurt you. It's just the initial look of what happens. So here, the plague boars are going to explode. I kept Muralax. I kited Muralax just well enough that he was in, and you saw how much those plague boars just chunked him down. He is CCable and things like that. So up next, we have the Rotting Slime Claws. This is just a Plague Binder slime claw pack. Just kick the things. The Slime Claws are going to try and escape. Really not that difficult. Now, what happens is after this little section is once you defeat a pack, the boss is going to jump to that platform first, and you're going to kind of activate him that way. Now, we do have a Necrolord, so I want to end up with the pack with the red slime last. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this Slime Breaker here, and I'll start pulling him on up to the Lieutenant. We defeat the Lieutenant, and we're going to come down. So here's nothing new. Kick the Plague Binder, stay out of the Jagged Spines, watch the frontals, and then you don't have to DPS down all of the little slimes that come up, but you just have to run on them. Your DPS can help you out with that, but they can't take more than one. So as a tank, it's really up to you to make sure that you can live through it and that, because you're going to have to take the brunt of them. And most of the DPS players are just going to let you kind of deal with it. And these things do get... so here I almost forgot. See, all you have to do is run over them. You don't actually need to do anything. And then we deal with Executioner Varuth. So after Executioner Varuth, I'm going to go over and we're going to pull this last pack right here with the Pestilent Slime, because I want that haste debuff for the boss, especially on a Tyrannical week. It's best to end with that one there, kind of pull them off to the side, kick where you can. Now, unfortunately, we all know Inspire is the thing, so that's going to work. What I am going to do here is what I like to do on the first boss whenever possible, is I'm actually going to stand inside the red slime here, because if you think you can live it, you know, if you're taking too much damage or anything like that, for me, I know I'm over geared for 15. I'm going to stand in it, and here with Outlust, I have a 96% haste standing in the red slime. So everyone should absolutely be standing in that slime as long as they can live through it. Let your healer know, and to let you know when, they can't deal with it or anything like that. But it is a lot of damage, big haste buff. Just getting out of it, I dropped from 96 to 52%, and there's no drums or lust there. So you really, really want to do that. Now, here he does do this Congealed Slime, purple one, that does the debuff. I turned eviled it, but somebody attacked it anyway. And your DPS, what they want to do, they want to hit the Plague Bomb. See, I tried to turn evil, but they just kept pulling it, whatever. If you do not tank Dr. Ickus in melee range, he will start that Burning Strain cast. It is kickable, so don't worry about it too much if you need to position him or anything like that. And on occasion, he will do this Erupting Ooze. You can DPS it down. It's got almost no health, but you can also just stand on it. Just step on it, and it will die. It doesn't have a lot of health at all, so it's very, very easy. You can just step on it. Aside from that, he's going to jump from platform, rinse and repeat. He does this jumping thing, and if you're wondering what the pattern is the way he's facing is going to be front to back and left to right, where he lands. And he's always going to pick the farthest one away. And then he's going to move forward. Here, I'm going to turn evil that purple slime again, but it's just going to get broken. But I tried, because that purple slime does do a big debuff. See, yeah. Here we opted to just straight up mow the boss down as quickly as possible and not deal with the Plague Bomb. But normally, if you don't think you can mow him down fast enough, you want to get that Plague Bomb down first. But that is the DPS job, to go and kill it. So here we had a little bit of a blunder. I don't know if I pulled it. This is actually something I'm kind of looking forward to in the replay. No, I did not. That was the DK that ran over to the side and ended up pulling, he jumped off and he ended up pulling another slime tentacle. Now, it's 60% health, these slime tentacles. will do the Crushing Embrace. You can see, so you can CC whatever out of it. These defenders here, they do this Bulwark of Maldraxxus, granting immunity to everything. Now here I'm really in a pickle, because as a tank, you need to stay near the slime tentacles. You really, really do, but there's 2 of them up. So here we split up. Hog's doing just fine. Well, he's tanking that one and I'm tanking this one. It's not that they do a crazy amount of damage, but they do enough. So you really want to make sure that you don't pull more than one at a time and CC it through. And then after that, we're going to go to Murder Island, but I didn't have Pony up just yet, so I got to do the Poison Walk. This is just more of the same. The defenders have the Creepy Crawler kick. Defenders have the Bulwark. Nothing out of this world. Nothing crazy. You want to hard CC the defender. And here, you want to take that path there because there's the tentacle. Aside from that, there's the lieutenant right here. I knew somebody was going to pull this. I absolutely knew it, and I was 100% right, so we had to deal with it inside. I don't know what pulled it, though. Yeah, something pulled it. I think it was the monk. That shit happens. That stuff happens. It's all good. Aside from that, yeah, oh, that's what happened. I think the monk died here because we couldn't kill the Bindings of Misery because there was a Bulwark up that I didn't notice in time. He's gonna release and walk back, and I'm just gonna off heal and make sure that everyone's okay. After Soggy, good old Soggy, who's not going to be there anymore. I'm so happy Executioner Ruth is going to be gone. I absolutely dreaded him in high keys. That 50% healing debuff just was not fun. Even as a DK, I hated it a lot. So here we have these Dread Ambush. I think they're Brood Ambushers. So they do an ambush cast, which they're going to jump behind you. You can flip and take it in the front instead of the back real quick. Now, I had hit shield or someone had kicked that enveloping cast. Now, what you want to do is you want to try and hard CC this Stealthling cast, because that Stealthling cast, they can get really, really wild and not fun. So here's a Dread Ambusher, excuse me, and a Defender of many eyes. The Defenders, again, you want to try and hard CC out of that Bulwark. You can freedom yourself out of the enveloping webbing, which really does no damage and keeps him from casting Stealthlings. Now here the Stealthlings did get off. So as a tank, I'm going to move forward, and this is where you want to try and do as much AoE as possible. Group stun, get them to not do the ambush cast. You can Ring of Peace and everything like that. But it's something that you want to watch out for, and in higher keys, the more those Stealthling casts get off, they can, if they all target one person, they can just demolish your DPS. It's so much funny how much threat paladins pull off tanks. When I rewatch this, I'm like, man. So here, we just mowed them down. Everything was fine. Pally went nuts. 23k. I don't know if he busted. I don't know if he used his cooldowns or not. But yeah, so Domina Venomblade. If you have a Poison Dispel, this boss is really just kind of a joke. Rinse and repeat through the mechanics. She does that Cytotoxic Slash. It's a Poison Dispel. So Pallies, Bears, Monks, you can just get rid of it yourself. Aside from that, if you're playing another class that does not have a Poison Dispel, you're going to want to make sure that you have one within your party. She does these Brood Assassins cast, which you do need to do some sort of damage around the area to get the Brood Assassins. Attention. Now here we do have the warrior that ran heroic leaped off and got their attention for me and came back. So then that way you just need to make sure that you gain threat on them. They don't have a tremendous amount of health and they tend to die quick. So if you're really wanting to worry about your AoE cooldowns, you could be in higher keys. You could ask like, hey warrior, use Blade Storm here. Hey you, use this here. You know, you could really, really work it out that way and things will die crazy, crazy fast. But really this is just a rinse and repeat fight. A few things about this one is you want to make sure that you work with some sort of buddy system, because she does this stun, enveloping webbing stun if you do not if you're not stacked, and you'll kind of hear this heartbeat kind of go on You'll boom, 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 and the faster it goes, the quicker that she is at stunning you into oblivion, and this can affect absolutely anybody. Aside from that, the DPS just have to get out with the purple circle around them. It's just rinse and repeat. Make sure you have a poison dispel. Honestly, it's really not that bad. And you go from there. But really what hurts with this fight is if you don't have that poison dispel, is that slash does a lot of damage over time. And can really just tear through your healer's mana. So here going down, we have 91%. Now, we're a little over. Yep, as I said before, we're going to be a little over. So I'm just going to opt out of... We have 15 minutes left. We're fine. There is the room on the side, on the right side, that has the 3 slimes. You can get the haste buff there. We were doing just okay. So like I was like, yeah, there's no point. 82% is what you want to go down if you're planning on grabbing those slimes. 85% if you're not. Keep those numbers in mind because that's what you want for whatever route you're going to do. Plaguefall does have a lot of different ways to route stuff. Now, these Plague-bound Devoted, these things can hurt a lot in higher keys. So this is just something you want to watch for threat and your general defensiveness. Aside from that, Ichor Bileflesh will go step away after a certain amount of health drain. He does a Pestilence Bolt cast. You want to kick it. This guy can be a pain in Sanguine, by the way. Yeah, I've never had fun with him in Sanguine. These guys can also rage and bolster, but they won't bolster Ichor Bileflesh. So something to keep in mind. But the Plaguebound Devoted can bolster and rage themselves. So in higher keys, these guys can really, really hurt. And last boss, Margrave. 3-phase fight. If you didn't get enough of tentacles in BFA, they made sure that you're going to get your fill of it here. Margrave Stradama does a few things. Number one, she gets this add out, this malignant spawn. You can just passively DPS it down, but what you really need to do as a tank is that green circle that had appeared right there. You absolutely need to be in that, or else a group AoE is going to occur. That's kind of your main tank buster. When the Infectious Rain cast is over, use your Poison Dispel as you see fit. Sometimes I'll do it on my healer, but I knew our Mistweaver was just fine and he could dispel himself, so I just dispelled myself to save it. There's that green cast. It is a little bit of a tank buster, but it's not horrendous. At 70% health, she is going to disappear. So just grab aggro on these Plaguebound Devoteds and avoid the stomping slimes. They do hurt. As a tank, you can live through them with defensives, but the higher the keys, obviously, the more they're going to hurt and the less you're going to survive. But if you're stuck in a bind and you have bubble up or something, you can always work it that way. So here I use drums on P3 because I think it's 30% where she's going to phase again and do the same thing. Just be in the green circle for the malignant spawn. Quaking always makes this boss so much fun with a large group of melee. Infectious Rain does hurt a lot. This is where you want to save defensives or things like that. As you can see, people's health bars kind of go down a bunch. But our healer does a great job. I tried healing and I got only locked in Quaking. I tried help. That's what I get for trying to help off healing, right? Aside from that, Margrave is going to have a burn phase at the end. She's going to spawn tentacles during the last phase, but she's not going to spawn any more malignant spawns. So you don't have to worry about the tank buster there, but you do want to make sure that you just stay out of the tentacle range here. So those Infectious Rains, again, Poison Dispels. Plaguefall is all about Poison Dispels, man. If you're going in here without one, you're going to have a bad time. But here we go. Now you see that the tentacles are coming up, so you just want to make sure that you just avoid them. They come in random patterns, so don't always assume it's going to be the same one. And you just mow her down that way. Easy peasy. That is how you tank a Plaguefall. Now, like I said, there's a lot of different ways to tank a Plaguefall. So really, you can work your route however you would like. There's a lot. I've seen a lot of different ways. Some people skip the whole first portion and then do all of this stuff here, like kind of what you see on screen. They do all of it. There's a lot of different ways to do it. So work with your group, work your route, be creative. This is a dungeon where you can be creative. But this dungeon also, like Necrotic Wake, has a lot of tools for you to use to make your life easier. If you're not using those unstable canisters, that's just more time that you're DPSing things down without the help of what's around you. So it's like trying to do a Necrotic Wake without the weapons, right? It just doesn't make sense. So that's how you tank Plaguefall. I know there's a lot to cover here. I tried my best to try and get as much of it as possible, and I think I did a fairly good job. I'm really, really excited for 9.2. As I'm currently recording this, we're in our long maintenance. So I am doing the Plaguefall now, and then I'm going to be recording the Mist right after, and both should be out one after another within a couple of days. Aside from that, catch me on stream. Links down below if you have any questions or anything like that. You can also join the Mazarok community Discord. Bunch of positive people there who all love tanking and just generally playing the game and helping see other people succeed from all walks of life. So if you're just getting into tanking and you have questions, come on by, join the Discord, and ask away. Lots of good people there that are just willing to help and answer any of your questions. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you very much for listening to this, and let's enjoy 9.2. And that encrypted affix is looking a lot of fun. Bye.